Hey everyone, Josh with Carl's Door and Saw. Today we're going to talk about what it looks like to own a Stihl HS82T or HS82R hedge trimmer. So let's start with the basics. First is going to be fuel. I've got two options with fuel. I can buy the Stihl HP Ultra, put it in 1 gallon of ethanol-free fuel. We can get into the ethanol-free fuel thing if you like, but just take my word for it, ethanol-free fuel. Or if you're like most people who don't run this machine very often, I'm going to recommend Ergonomics. This stuff is awesome, okay? It starts better, it runs better, and most of all, it stores better. It is engineered to have a much longer life than traditional gasoline. Most of our gasoline starts breaking down in about 6 weeks and failing. This has a 2-year shelf life. So on a hedge trimmer, a machine that I'm going to break out 2, 3, 4 times a year, it's important to have good fuel in it. It's going to sit January and February and March, and April comes around, and I'm going to get my shrubs looking better than my neighbors, and I go to start my awesome new Stihl hedge trimmer, and it won't start. Here's your hint, your tip, your trick, Ergonomics, okay? So I highly recommend this. I know there's some naysayers or some people who don't agree with me. That's fine. For those of you who want to trust me, take my word, run Stihl Ergonomics. Okay, so we put our fuel in. That's going to go right here in the back in the fuel tank. Flip up this black lid cap, give it a half a turn, pull out, mix fuel in. It is always on run. I is on, O is off, ignition. It's universal symbols, but it's always ready to start. Primer, it's hiding right up here in the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 or 5 pumps is enough to get the fuel from the tank to the carburetor. And then choke. I'm going to push in and I'm going to rotate counterclockwise. Okay, so push in and rotate. Now the choke is attached to the throttle trigger. So when I pull the throttle, did you hear that click? Shut the choke off. So pretty cool. Choke it. I always keep this cover on when I'm cold starting it. The reason is because it's not always the safest machine to start. It's not something that works very well to put on the ground and put your knee on. I mean, it kind of works. I highly recommend something like this, that it's away from you, but by keeping this cover on when I start it cold, those 2 or 3 pulls that are uncontrolled, at least I'm a little more protected. So I'm going to pull the rope. It started. As soon as it started, I hit the trigger and I shut the choke off, okay? I don't know if you heard that or you saw that, but I shut the choke off. Now, traditionally, I would run it for 20, 30 seconds with the cover on, shut it off, take the cover off, pull the rope, good to go. Okay, so how do we maintain this thing? A hedge trimmer's got several areas to look at to maintain. One is going to be blade maintenance. Always ask, how often do I need to sharpen this? These blades are hardened. They stay sharp for a long time. I found most of my commercial guys who do it for a living, twice a year they're sharpening it. So it stays sharp very well. Sharpen the blades every couple of years as a homeowner, a couple times a year as a commercial guy. Lubricate the blades. These need lubrication. These blades are going back and forth. There's friction, there's heat. So you can traditionally use just a penetrating oil is enough. But that's not good, right? We got pitch, we got sap that builds up on these blades. If I'm cutting a coniferous plant, something evergreen, something sappy, it's going to build up on these blades. We'll see a black resin, a black pitch. At which point in time, I want this Stihl hedge trimmer spray. And I'm going to spray it down, I'm going to flip it over, I'm going to get the backside, and I'm going to run the blades, cycle them through, and it will clean that black pitch off, allowing the blades to maintain contact with one another to cut properly. We also have a grease plug on the bottom of the gearbox. You'll see this screw right here. I can simply remove this screw, take this cute little tube of grease, thread it in, and give it a light squeeze. This is something that I'm going to do about every 30 to 40 hours, so man, how am I going to remember that? There's not an hour meter on this thing, and I don't log it every time. How about we just do it once a year, just a little squeeze? That way we know we've done it, right? Kind of maintain it that way. And then my air filter, that's right under here. This threads in, or this torch wrench pops in, and I can pull my air filter cover off. I check this once a year too. For most homeowners, you're not running it enough that this thing's going to get super dirty. but I just want to have that visual annually, see where it's at. Cool thing on the HS82 series is this handle rotates, okay? So if I think about ergonomics, when I'm running on the top of a hinge, this is fine on my wrist, but if I'm flipping, you see what that's doing to my wrist? If I'm doing that for hours, it's gonna hurt. Carpal tunnel will kick in. So I can rotate this by pulling back, and now it's just a much smoother operation. It's gonna feel better on my body over the long haul. I love the anti-vibration system on this. You'll notice 1, 2, 3, 4 springs. So the engine and gearbox is completely isolated from the handle. So I'm not picking up that vibration. So very smooth running, fairly quiet, light, balanced, ergonomic. The Stihl HS82 hedge trimmer. For more information, check them out at Carl's Mower & Saw. Like and follow our YouTube channel and learn more every day.